So my name is Ben. I'm with the Honorable Partner Podcast. This is Dante. Dante, thanks for coming on.
Yep.
Dante was my first friend before coming to Michigan. How did we meet, Dante?
So it's kind of a long story, but Ben actually found me on YouTube because I have a
Yep.
YouTube channel, and he emailed me from my email that was in the YouTube channel and was like, "Hey, I like your videos. I'm interested in like talking." So I added him on Discord. We started talking business. We became good friends, and then eventually he ended up moving out here because I was here to start your business or your
Yeah,
channel.
I remember calling you and I was like, what? Yeah, I sold everything and moved to Michigan
Yep.
and I didn't see any reason not to.
Yeah, and that was 15 months ago now, right? So like you
Well,
called
yeah,
me one
15
night. Yeah,
months.
we were calling every day during the summer talking about our businesses. You were flipping couches.
Yeah.
I was doing landscaping. And one night you literally said like, "Hey, I think I want to move to Michigan, sell everything and start from zero and like document the process." And so you did. So that's
And
one thing I like about you is like if you have a crazy idea, you'll just do it. So I don't know anyone else who would just move from their hometown to where they don't know anyone.
when I moved here, I was what, 17 at the
Yeah,
time?
17. You weren't even an adult yet.
That's
so,
insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. And then so I'm 19 now. And then how old are you?
I'm 16 still,
16.
almost 17.
Yeah.
So
So we're still just like the youngest guys that don't
Yeah.
even, we don't even know what we're doing.
exactly.
But you've done over your life, I feel like an impressive amount of hustles.
Yeah, I think for my age, for sure. Like between the YouTube work and the landscaping and the window cleaning and car detailing
Yep.
and selling Pokemon cards when I was younger, I've definitely done like a lot of just random things to make money.
What do you think's been the most successful hustle yet?
I mean, if you define success as like monetary gain, like how much money, it would have to be landscaping because I made $4,000 in 2 months off of landscaping. So, I mean, it's not crazy.
How
but
old?
At 15 years old. So I made $4,000
Yeah,
in 2
so,
months
like-
just knocking doors. I like did the math and I ended up making about $50 per door I knocked because I had a really high conversion rate. But
Because you're
Yeah.
like a young
kid in the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
just-
My pitch was like, "Hey, I live over there on so-and-so street. We just moved in and I'm looking to help out the neighbors." That was my pitch, and it works like 50% of the time. So,
So when you say landscaping, what does that actually mean?
well, I mean, I think home services would be like a better description for
Yeah.
it because it was like window cleaning, like weeding. I also would do some like lawn mowing if I was asked to. So really just anything with the external house, I would
Yeah.
fix. If there was weeds, I'd pick them. If the window was dirty, I'd clean it. If you needed power washing, I'd power wash your sidewalks. Like I did anything that they needed, and I just kind of make up a price based on that. So,
Whatever you
yeah.
think they would pay.
Whatever I think would be fair for the work. I tried to make about 30 to 50 an hour, which sounds like a lot, but I had to do the equipment and the marketing and the knocking.
And actually not,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so I was the sales team, the fulfillment team, the marketing team, so I needed to get paid more for all
When
that.
nobody wants to pull weeds.
Yeah.
So that was my first hustle in Michigan too.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know what I did? Because I was like, I didn't want to knock doors.
Yeah.
I've knocked some doors. We actually sold mailboxes.
Yeah,
How many did
that's
we
fun.
get? We got, I think, 3.
Yeah, we got 3. So we only knocked like 15 doors, but we ended up selling like 3 people on like $200 mailboxes because we just had a good pitch.
It was
and
more than that.
Yeah.
They were.
Oh, they were more than that?
I sold
Really?
2 that were $450.
Okay, I
And then
forgot
one was
about that. Yeah.
One that was $300.
300. Okay.
Honestly, I think you're better at door knocking than me.
Maybe.
At least your local neighborhood.
With because I don't have experience outside of that. I mean, I think there's so many factors that go into door knocking, like being younger
Yeah.
can help. Your haircut, the way you present yourself, the outfits you wear, what you look like literally everything can affect it. And so maybe it's just I had like a better package for door knocking. Like I
Possibly.
felt less threatening maybe
Yeah.
or something like that. Who knows?
You know that?
But-
Do you remember when I got a girl's number from?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that senior from my school. I knew her too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did she recognize you?
No, like not new, but like I've seen her walking around basically.
Okay.
So yeah, she's gone now. She's off at college, but
So, yeah, we knocked and we were like, your parents tell them it's like they need a mailbox. She's like, no, they're not. And I was like, well, I mean, like, can I get your number?
yeah, went from selling a mailbox to selling himself. Oh my gosh.
Dude, that's a good
Did
story.
that ever go anywhere? Did you text her? No.
I mean, I did text her, but I
Yeah.
just didn't know how. I didn't.
Yeah. Just hopeless.
I'm hope. Yeah.
Yeah. So what made you want to move to Michigan? Like, why did you come here?
I mean, I just wanted a good story, part of it.
Yeah.
And like, my story is I sold everything, moved here, landed with no money.
$10.
Yeah,
Wasn't that it? Yeah, $3.
and a tube of
$3
chapstick.
and a tube of chapstick.
I walk out of the airport and I'm like, I'm hungry. What should I do? So I went and knocked doors.
Yeah, and then you got the cops called on
Yeah, I
you.
knocked doors. I
And
knocked
they
doors in
searched you.
Romulus and that.
Yeah,
And,
that is not a good idea. But
well, I didn't
yeah,
know.
you didn't know. You've never been to Romulus, so how would you know?
So
But
then they called the cops on me and I was like, this sucks.
yeah,
So yeah, I think it was probably about like 67 minutes after landing, I realized I didn't want to do it anymore.
yeah.
That's when I
Okay.
realized it was gonna suck.
Okay. Was that when the cops got called on you, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, it was literally like within an hour.
So what was your like lowest moment? You were literally homeless for months. You sold everything you owned. You flew to a state you've never been to with
Yeah.
only one person you know from online. You'd never seen me in person, and you land here and you're homeless. Like what was the worst part about that?
Oh, I mean, there's just so many moments that were absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Like I had a bike that I
Yeah.
got for free from
Yep, I remember that.
from Six City Transit Cycle, like a bike shop in Ann Arbor. They were throwing it away. I was like, hey, can I get it for free, please? And then I smiled, and then they did.
Yeah.
But I got that, and like 2 days later, I'm sleeping behind like a fenced off area because I wanted to be protected from my bike's outside the fence. I wake up at like 2 a.m. Somebody's stealing my bike, and I'm just like, now I have to walk everywhere. So just watching somebody steal my bike was rough.
Yeah.
I saved up at one point. I think it was like a week and a half after the bike was
You
stolen.
got scammed, right?
I saved up $350 of hard earned. And I mean, I worked hard for that. I was making like $10 an hour under the table with like business that I
Yeah.
gone door to door to effectively. And the guy I met with, he was like, I got a room you can rent. You know, I admire your story, whatever. I want to get you in. I give him my money. He's like, yeah, the house is just here. Come by later. And then he goes to me.
Didn't he take you through a tour of the house? But
Let's just say I didn't think very smart at that time.
Okay.
He did not.
He didn't.
I don't.
No.
The problem is I couldn't get anywhere. There's so much friction to like if you want to go tour a house right now, you just drive there for 5 minutes and it's fine.
Yeah.
For me, I have to bike like 6 miles back and forth to get there, and it has to be around my work schedule.
Yeah.
And where I was getting food. So I couldn't just like drop everything and go see it very easily. And I was ready to get into somewhere. So I just was like, I've never rented a place before.
Yeah.
I'm 17. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'd never rented. So I didn't know I was supposed to go see that place before.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a learning lesson. I mean, $300 is at the end of the day not that bad. Cause I mean,
Well, it
yeah.
wasn't because I had consistent employment at that time.
Yeah.
I was making $60 a day.
Yeah.
It literally, all it did was set me back a week
Yeah.
of not, it wasn't a fun week.
Yeah. I mean, that sucks because you feel like I'm working for what I had before getting scammed. Like, this is stupid. But where did you go after that? Because you got a truck from someone, right?
I met this
remember that.
guy.
Yeah.
And I told him that I was, homeless. I had a bike. And he was like, dude, that's crazy. Like, I got a truck. Like, if we get it running, you can have it. So it was just sitting in his parking lot.
And you're a mechanic. You have like
Yeah.
a lot of experience with cars.
As
so.
much as you can at 17. But
Yeah.
Well, I've worked on my own used like beaters
Yeah.
a lot up to that point. So we met up on a Sunday and spent like 4 hours troubleshooting and figuring out what was wrong with this. And we got it going. This was a beater. It was like a 19.
Oh, I remember it.
Dude,
The first time I ever met you, you showed up in the beater.
when I test drove it, there was a mouse running
Oh,
around
gosh.
inside.
Oh, my.
That truck needed some pest control. And then it's a manual, and I didn't know how to drive a manual. So then I was like breaking down on the highway. It was kind of sketchy to learn that. But yeah, so that was my first vehicle. It was just beater. I ended up giving it back to him because I didn't want to take it from him. So I loaned that for a month and a half.
And then you got a van.
Yeah, with the truck, I pivoted from just pulling people's weeds to more landscaping. I mean, I did start.
You did all kinds of stuff. I remember the equipment you had bought. You did like,
Dude, it was built out. I had,
yeah,
like,
exactly. The rack, and like you did like the custom wood stuff, and I remember all that. Yeah, so you did more landscaping. Then you sold that. You got a van, which you put all your stuff in. You started doing like handyman work.
Then
right?
I got into the van. The van. Oh man, I felt like a king. because
Yeah.
I could stand up in there. There was no windows. It locked good. I'm talking about for living in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I lived in that for like 3 weeks. And then I got into an apartment from a deal on Facebook. It was just like room for rent, $600. I hustled enough jobs from Nextdoor and Facebook that I could pay for rent. So I got in. Now I've got a place to rent. I own a vehicle. And then from there, I just kept doing the handyman business.
Yep. So when did you like transition from handyman stuff to like pest control, what you're doing now, like helping people out?
So I did the handyman business for almost a year. I did over 250 service calls
Okay.
since I started with the van. So pretty much every day, all day, to edging burnout as much as I could. I was charging very little because I didn't know very much. So you're talking 20, $30 an hour. By the end, I was charging 125 for the first hour and then $100 an hour. And that's what I charged. I built up a really good reputation because every single time I showed up,
Mm-hmm.
and I always
Did a good job
yep.
and you tried your best. Yeah. I
Even if
remember.
mistakes were made, I would always make it right with the customer.
Mm-hmm.
So by the end of it, my best month was like 14K revenue. That was doing mailboxes.
Okay.
I niched into mailboxes towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
But through this, my buddy Nick, who founded Honorable Pest Control, he's like, then quit your business. Quit your business. Join me. It'll be fun. And I kid you not, I told him no 50 times.
Mm-hmm. And just kept
50
asking.
days. I was like, dude, no. Like, I have my own thing. I like being my own boss. I don't want to join you. Like that. I like being. I'm not gonna work for somebody. But by the end of it, I was like, mailboxes are slowing down. The contracting season's slowing down. And he had proved himself to me enough that, like, he was saying, Ben, come on in and I'll give you a part of this company. Like, I want you bad. If you were able to do that from homeless, like off a bike, and build a handyman business at that age, like, I need you in this pest control business to grow the way we want to. And by that point, I was just, honestly, I got tired of working alone for the full, like.
Yeah, you had to do everything yourself, marketing, sales, fulfillment, everything.
And now we just have an awesome team of, like, we've got Hayden, who's one of our really good technicians. We've got Carl, he's got 25 years of experience. We've got Nick, who founded the business. We've got Ada, who's our office lady. And so when I'm working, it's more than just for me, it's for everyone.
Yeah. So it's a community that you've built now through your company. And yeah,
it's just more fun. I mean, dude,
yeah. I mean, that is, you talk about good stories, right? Like, hey, imagine having kids in the future and they're like, hey, Dad, what did you do when you were our age? And they're like 17, still in high school. And you're like, yeah, I sold everything I owned before I was even an adult and moved halfway across the country to start my own business and be homeless for about a month and a half. And telling them that story would just be amazing. So,
well, and that was part of doing it. Will I ever do it again? No.
Yeah, it's not worth it. I mean, are you going to stay in Michigan, you think, for a while, or what's the?
I'm putting down roots. I bought a cat.
Okay. You bought a cat, really? What's your cat's name?
Or not bought, I adopted.
Adopted, yeah.
Buddy.
Buddy. Oh yeah, you told me about
Did
Buddy.
I send you a picture?
Yes,
He's
you
so
did.
cute,
So are you still living in? You have the house now, right?
Yeah.
You're in a house. Okay.
So I'm like house hacking. One of my contacts from being a handyman, he hit me up and he was like, "Hey, you were looking for a place to live?" So it's basically a 2-bedroom, and then I rent out the second one. Basically, I'm able to live for like $400 a month.
Yeah,
rent.
super cheap, and it's So are you renting or like?
I'm renting.
Okay, you're renting. Okay.
And then I sublet the other room.
Yeah,
that's how you get it so cheap.
That's how you get it so cheap. Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, to go from literally homeless with $3 to your name to having a place, being a part of a team, having a podcast room, inviting guests on, it's insane.
And I didn't even know that when I joined Honorable Pest Control. But I roadmapped it out with Nick of like, wait, this, like, in partnerships with local businesses is really important. And so we decided, what better way to partner with people than to build a podcast around partnerships? And so we're going to have on every home service business, everybody we can.
Yeah.
But I didn't know I'd be able to be a podcaster.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it's fun, dude.
Yeah. So you've had so many different roles, from mechanic to like landscaper, podcaster. You used to do video editing. Like, you've gone full circle. You've tried everything at this point. So
yeah, and I'm still young. Yeah, that's the part.
You're still 19. You're not even 20 yet. So
yeah, people need to just do more stuff.
Yeah,
and then you learn what you like and you build a bunch of skills. Because when we initially met, I was into like YouTube.
Yeah.
Now I can pull those skills, the little that I built for that whatever the year and a half we did
Mhm.
it, and implement it into the podcast.
Mhm. Exactly. So I think a lot of people would say that like a skill that never goes anywhere is a wasted skill. But I think in learning the skill, you learn the way to actually learn something. Like you learn how to self study, and then you also
Yep.
have that knowledge for future reference. Even if you never use your YouTube again, which you will with the podcast,
Yeah.
you'd still have the framework for thinking in terms of like, hey, what grabs people's attention? What will get views? What do people like to see? What's entertaining? What's educating, etc. And that those skills will help you anywhere in life, whether you do
Yeah.
sales, a podcast, anything.
And you don't know what if you keep doors open, you don't know what your life is going to bring about. I
Hmm.
mean, you never know when the actual niche skill you developed will become useful. Because when I quit YouTube, when we first met, I didn't know I would be using it again in honorable pest control for
Yeah.
a podcast. Like, I didn't know that skill would be useful to me in a year and a half. So you don't even, the skills you're developing now, whatever skill it is,
Hmm.
you will most likely be able to use it in the future.
Yeah, I guess that's the best advice. Like, you have a crazy work drive. You were probably working 12 hours a day, if not 16, right? Like
Yeah, it was,
something crazy. And would you say to an audience of someone who's ambitious and young that just choose anything and just work on it, be obsessed with it, work on it all day, have no work-life balance, just go for it. And no matter what that thing is, you'll end up, you can never go
you
wrong.
can't lose.
You can't lose as long as you're even. What about school? What would you say about like a kid who's still in high school?
Drop out.
Drop out?
I did
What if
it.
they want to do high school though? What if they're into that? They want to like learn as much as they possibly can.
I mean, it depends on what you kind of envision yourself. For me, I've never thought I want to be the guy with the PhD that's on a podcast that's super knowledgeable about fitness or whatever.
Hmm.
If you view your life as somebody who has the education degrees, who is like known for having education, and then it makes sense to go through the educational process. My vision for myself was I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to do crazy things. I'm going to
Hmm.
do big things. I'm going to have fun and I'm not going to be tied down. With that vision, it doesn't matter if I get my high school diploma. I don't have a high school diploma.
Yeah.
No, not very many people that are like actually doing stuff say that because it's
Yeah.
so out of the norm.
Yeah. I think so many people tie up their value with the titles of education. Like, oh, I have a
Yeah.
master's degree. I went to Harvard's, right? Like people tie up their identity so much in that. But um, there was a quote by Feynman who,
Yeah, we were just talking
we were
about
just
him.
talking about him the other day. For the audience who doesn't know, he's a famous physicist. He won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1967, I believe.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. But he won the Nobel Prize in Physics for quantum electrodynamics, and his work has basically helped quantum physicists for the last like 80 years, right? And what he said, what Feynman said was, you can have a PhD and still be an idiot. There's thousands of people with PhDs who are idiots, and there's thousands of people who don't have a PhD who know more than anyone who in the traditional education system ever would or does. So I don't think the education means you're smart or means you know more. It's just a title that you gain by jumping through some hoops and paying money. So
And I'm not going to say nobody should go through education.
yeah, we need doctors, we need engineers.
We do.
Right? So
But I'm 19. Because of how active I've been, I've literally bought and sold like 5 vehicles,
mhm,
5 or 6 at this point. Think about how much you learn by just doing a ton.
mhm,
Like, I know how to buy a vehicle more skillfully than most 19-year-olds just because I'm doing so much,
mhm.
getting so much life experience. In the end, when you're living life, you want life experience. It's not reading a textbook's not going to like really help you in some ways, at least. I mean, I don't know. I just know when I was in high school, most of the people there didn't do anything.
Mhm.
Most of my friends from high school are going to college. They're not doing anything. They're still just like, well, this is kind of the path, blah, 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 blah. They don't really love it. They don't really want to do it. And it's not going to build their life in the same way as dropping out, saying, hey, I'm going to flip furniture. I'm going to burn the bridges and I'm going to make this work.
Mhm. Yeah, I think, and that's where the problem with education is. Like, for someone like you, it makes sense to drop out. You're not some like drug addict who's dropping out and just gonna like
Right.
sit in their mom's basement and play video games. you're someone who's motivated. I think the same goes for the people in the education system. Like most people stay in because it's like the preset path. Like, oh, I'll go to college, I'll get a degree, I'll make money, right? Which isn't even going to be the case in the future.
Yeah.
But like most people just go through because that's what they're told. I think to a student who loves learning and who is genuinely interested in the topics they're given in science and those kind of fields, then school is great. But if you're just an average
Yeah.
student, it's not worth it. I mean, maybe get your high school diploma, but don't feel pressured to stay in the system.
And because are you planning to finish high school?
Yeah, so
'Cause
I'm
you're still in that middle.
I'm planning to finish high school and go on to postgraduate school to get a PhD actually.
Really? Okay.
And yeah, so I'm very interested in the traditional education system because I love science, and to get an education in science where you can actually make a difference and be published and have actual journals and articles, you kind of have to have a PhD.
Yeah.
You're not going to be respected in your field without it.
Yes.
And so for me, that's what makes sense. But for you, wanting to be a business owner, that doesn't make sense. So,
Well, and you also play the cards that you have. If you
Yeah.
like education, then play the card of, hey, I'm going to get this PhD.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the top in the industry. But you've also got the entrepreneur side.
yeah.
I think that's pretty obvious.
And that's, yeah. So
Now,
yeah.
I would never be able to take that role, but you can play because you like the education and you have the entrepreneurship spirit. Now you're a top 1 in 10,000 person
Yeah.
in that whatever field you develop.
Yeah. Well, because my whole plan eventually would be to get this PhD, and while I'm going through school, be running a business, whether that be an education business, growing
Yeah.
my YouTube channel, doing private coaching to help people learn, all of those things. I could see myself running a business while getting an education. And then my passion is education. My passion is learning new things
Yep.
like science. And the way I'm going to make money, because that usually doesn't make much money, is through a business which I can help other people do that
Do you
thing.
think you'll take your
So-
PhD knowledge and pair that with the entrepreneurship?
That's kind of the plan.
That's where the power comes in, because
Yeah.
you've got people that love learning, but they're not entrepreneurship.
Yep.
And then they can't bring that to the marketplace.
Yeah. So my differentiating factor is that, hey, I have a PhD, so I've spent a lot of time in school. I know a lot of things about X field. I don't know what I'm going to go into yet. Something with the sciences for sure, maybe physics, chemistry, engineering, something like that. And I can take all that knowledge and that credibility that's
Yep.
built based on a PhD and transfer that into my business skills and then sell a product or do coaching, mentorships, all of that kind of stuff. So that's how I'll make the money, is the business side. And then my passion is the science side. And so I'll have this like kind of perfect triangle.
And
Of
when you
everything,
look
yeah.
at your life path, you're going to be in a position that I could never get to because I take
Yeah.
in a different.
But you'll be in a position I could never get to because I'm going to spend the next 8 years in school
Yeah.
and you'll have those 8 years to build a business. So there's trade-offs. You just got to play the hand you're dealt and do the best
That's
you
why
can with it.
people, I
Yeah.
think they stress too much.
Yeah.
In the end,
It doesn't matter. Me
Yeah.
going to high school, I'm going to get the same life fulfillment as long as
Yeah.
I work as hard as I possibly can on the things I love. I'll get the same life satisfaction as you will. We'll just take a different path and have different material results from it. But
and I love learning too.
yeah. It's just a different thing.
It's
You love
different.
learning marketing, sales,
Yeah.
the business side. I like learning that too, but I'm kind of more into right now like reading
education
books
side,
and
yeah.
the education system. And I think as long as you spend every waking moment trying to learn new things, you can never go wrong, like we said
You
earlier.
can't, because I was also really into science
Yeah.
through my high school.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember taking this thick physical sciance book on
physical science.
vacations.
On vacations, yeah.
was,
I'm that kid. I'm that kid too who takes textbooks on vacation. Such a nerd, bro. Yeah, you're like on the plane going somewhere and you're like
Literally.
flipping through.
So what's the it was a science book specifically for like practical.
Oh,
What
yeah.
would you- what's it called?
It's just practical science. It depends
That's
on
what it
what
was.
field. So like you could say applied physics, applied
It was-
chemistry.
I think it was applied.
probably applied.
So I learned
physics
like
or-
how
yeah.
refrigerators worked,
Yeah,
how lights work.
it's probably applied mechanics or something like that. Yeah.
But it was a thick textbook, and I just loved, dude. I still love it.
Mhm.
Like remembering back to like just when it clicked in my brain, like this is how a refrigerator cools things.
yeah,
It was so cool.
yeah,
But that was actually surprisingly useful with my handyman business.
Yeah.
Because handyman, you're working with physical materials, drywall, lights,
Mhm.
screws, everything is technically physics. So I was able to take my like little tower of knowledge and use that for the handyman.
Mhm.
So even if you jump into something else, you never know what your deep knowledge of the
physics might
textbook-
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's where like me understanding, I'm in AP chemistry, which is often cited as like the hardest high school
Yeah.
class you could possibly take in debate with another class. But being able to understand chemistry, like chemistry is what makes up everything, right? Like
Yeah.
atoms make up us, and then also this table and everything else. And it's very interesting. And like, I find it fun to find out laws about the universe and be able to apply it in my real life.
Oh, it's
Like the other day, this is like a very basic concept that almost everyone probably knows about, but I was in the shower and my door was closed. So I'm in the bathroom, the shower's heating up the room, and I look out from the shower and my mirror has a line of fog. So there's a like perfectly straight line of fog on the top of the mirror, and then it's slowly going down to cover the entire mirror because heat rises, right? So all the heat's rising, the moisture's up there, and then as the overall temperature of the room is increasing, there's basically the heat is like moving down in the room.
You're saying the lower portion of the mirror had no condensation?
None at all. And the top portion had like completely foggy in a perfectly straight line.
So is that also because colder air doesn't hold as much moisture? Is that a thing?
So I actually couldn't answer that question. I don't know about colder air holding more moisture. I do know obviously heat rises or less moisture. Yeah, I do know heat rises, and the hot particles in the shower room are actually just like the mist particles from the shower. So those are going to be rising, and then the cold air from like the outside areas is going to be on the bottom.
So the reason I say that is when you go out, and I read this in the textbooks when I was a nerd about it. When you go outside on a cold morning and you take a breath in, it feels way different than on a hot day.
Yeah.
I think there's less moisture in the air.
Yeah. So, humidity
is dependent. Like how much moisture.
Well, the thing is, actually, if you want to get into it, like you go to Arizona, it's very dry, but also hot. And then you could go to the jungle, somewhere in the Amazon jungle in Brazil, and it's also hot but very humid. So I'm not exactly sure.
The whole thing is that colder air can hold less humidity.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, it still can hold humidity.
Just less.
You're just gonna have less
per molecule or per area.
Anyway, without going too far into into a physics debate.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just one example of like seeing it in your real life. Like, seeing physics work is very interesting, and it's just like something I enjoy doing. Like it makes me tick. It makes me like excited when I read something in a textbook and then I can apply it to my real life.
That's how it works.
And it's very, like, we were learning about wavelengths in AP chemistry the other day, like wavelengths as in like the FM radio, right? Like you have your X-ray, your gamma rays, your ultraviolet light, you have your visible light spectrum, which is like these lights, and then you have your non-visible on the left side, which are like FM radio waves. And you can actually measure how large a radio wave is based on the frequency. So 95.5 radio, which probably a lot of people in the Ann Arbor area listen to, 95.5, we measured the length of the radio wave of that 95.5 that's communicated from the tower. It's 3 meters long. 3 meters. So it's like from me to further than the wall.
That's crazy.
So those wavelengths are so long. And then as you get smaller and smaller, like the wavelengths they use for eye surgery are visible light, and they're like, you can't even see them, right? So I find the application of the knowledge I learned from textbooks very interesting, and I like learning. I like it.
So what's been your favorite hustle since you started? Like, even though you're still young. I mean, you were doing like physical labor, knocking doors.
Yeah.
You've done some YouTube stuff. You even sold a course.
Yeah.
Did you sell any course? Did you make any money on that?
Yeah. So I ended up making like $400 off the course. So so I think a way to frame that is like, I've done the manual labor, I've done the heavy mental tasks where you're just like writing scripts and stuff, and kind of the stuff in between. And I would say I definitely prefer the mental tasks. Like I don't like weeding. Like I don't find enjoyment from pulling weed. I don't know if anybody does.
No,
really.
I had a gardener on.
But really?
And
they liked it. Okay. Yeah, some people do. I am not one of those people.
Alvaro's Hobby Gardening. Look it up. He likes gardening.
That's
awesome. If you've got weeds, he'll fix that.
Yeah. So, I mean, everybody's got their thing. But for me, the things I've enjoyed the most are like writing a YouTube script and then making the video. I've always liked talking, honestly.
Yeah.
And so those kind of hustles are the ones I've enjoyed the most.
So what do I have to do to get you to co-host the Honorable Partner podcast with me?
Take my AP exams for me. Because like, I even struggle to find time to like hang out with my girlfriend like at all, like once a week for a few hours, because it's like, I don't know if any high school students are listening, but like I'm in I'm in 3 AP classes and I'm self-studying 3 AP classes and I have the SAT coming up
Yeah.
and I'm self-studying pre-calc and calculus. So like I have 8 or 9 subjects that I have to focus on at once. And to have the time to do a podcast, it just doesn't make sense in my schedule. Like right now, I've done
Summer.
the math. I have 14 free hours per week, 2 hours a day max. And that's like to hang out with my friends, to use
Yeah.
the bathroom, to eat. Like I don't have time for stuff like that, unfortunately.
So I'll have to talk to you in the summer.
Yeah.
But
No,
okay.
I mean the summer,
So
perfect. Yeah.
education aside, is because to me, I feel like you're just so curious. I feel like you
Mhm.
would be a good podcast host,
Yeah.
generally speaking.
Yeah, I think that's why I like education. It's not necessarily because I find, I open this big textbook, I love reading it. It's more because I'm just so curious. Ever
Yeah.
since I was a kid, I'd always ask why, why,
Yeah.
why, why. And my dad would keep answering. I'd be like, Dad, why does the plane fly? And then he'd answer, oh, well, it has jet propulsion and the jets are pushing faster and blah, blah, blah with gravity speaking. And then he'd explain that and be like, oh, well, why is that force greater than the force of gravity? And then he'd keep explaining. And I've always just been curious.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to learn more. And I don't know. I think maybe I was born with that. I don't know if that's like
I'm
a
the
thing.
same way.
Yeah.
My mom literally told me when I was a kid, you would just ask why all the time.
Yeah.
And
that's how we probably found each other.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
We're like, we think the same. So
Yeah.
mine has shifted. You'll ask, why is the plane able to fly?
Yeah.
I will ask, why did people decide to build the plane?
Yeah.
The social aspect.
Yeah.
Because in
So-
business, that's what matters.
Yeah, I think that's where we like our mindset's different. If I was into business as much as you are, and I was like doing it every single day as my main thing,
Yeah.
my brain would start reframing how I think about things.
Mine,
When I was into business, I'd walk into a yogurt shop and I'd be like, instead of analyzing why the yogurt machine is able to dispense yogurt like I would now based on the textbook, like, oh, you pull the lever and it opens like a little seat in there, whatever. I would think about it as, okay, this restaurant has sticky floors. That's going to make people disgusting. They don't like to be with sticky floors, and the colors are off, and it's messy. So they're going to think you're less organized, and they're going to be less likely to come back. And I just used to analyze it like that, and then my mindset has shifted based on what I've been studying.
So yeah, my whole thing now is more the social engineering level of like, how do we make this effective for business? Not exactly why is. And then the only time I'm interested in the science behind it is, okay, I have a problem that I'm trying to solve to make the customer experience better. What's the science behind it? So like,
what's the psychology?
I was telling you,
buying or something.
no, not that.
Oh, not
Actual physical problems, like an audio drift issue. Even with this, what we're filming right now, my last podcast, when I was editing it, by 3/4 through, the words do not match the voice, so the audio's like not synced
just
up,
slightly off. Yeah.
And then I used ChatGPT. I dove really deep into the science of how things are recorded, and now I know how to solve it because I dove into the physical science of it. Once it's solved, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just care that our podcast is going to be bad, so I dive into it to fix it, and then my focus is no longer
so
there.
you're entirely applied science
Yeah.
kind of person. Like you want to see why it works, how it works, and then apply it, and that's it.
Yeah, and then I love the science behind, like, why do we even care? Like, why is airplanes such a big industry?
Yeah, and that's what psychology is. Honestly, it's between two classes, but I think my favorite class is AP Psychology. And
You like
you go into all of that stuff. Why there's 7 psychological perspectives. We go into why people do what they do.
Yeah.
And it's just so fascinating.
And now I'm like super into that for just sales in general.
Yeah. So
building
why
this
does someone
podcast.
buy something, right?
Yeah.
Do they buy it purely for needing to survive, biological perspective? Do they buy it because this will keep them warm and fed in the winter? Or do they buy it because other people will think more of them if they buy it? Like there's so many different ways you could analyze it.
So one of the big ones is like being ideologically aligned.
Yeah.
So if you believe that you should always follow the rules, and then there's a poster that's like, you should follow the rules, you might buy that poster because it aligns with your beliefs about the world.
Okay.
Or like me and Nick, we want to grow really fast. We want to grind. We want to put in effort. And we see a poster about, we have actually seen this. It's a bunch of white sheep and then one black sheep in the middle.
Mhm.
And it's like grind, greatness or something like that. we both want to buy that poster because it aligns ideologically with what we're trying to do in our lives.
Yeah. So that poster is aligned with you, therefore you want to buy it. So
Yep.
that's one reason people buy things, is because it's ideologically aligned with them.
So that's like
Same reason a Christian person would buy a baby Jesus, like
or Christmas,
yeah,
like a
it's called, yeah.
Christmas assembly.
Yeah,
That's
what
a
I'm talking
$300 thing,
Yeah,
but
why would you buy that?
yo,
Well, because it's ideologically aligned. It
yeah.
aligns with my values, and it shows something that I believe to be true, that Jesus was born and
So
Mary, and yeah.
then beyond that, you have like immediate needs. Like
Yeah.
I literally saw this video the other day. It was a short, and it was just like when it's been a long day and you're hungry, and then it was like, you know how you would have like a bunch, like a super attractive girl,
Yeah.
but it had McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, and you're looking over, you're like, oh, I shouldn't, but I want it so bad because
Yeah.
I'm hungry. But you
That
have
happens to me too. And here's the thing, that's another different perspective, because you can't boil down why someone wants something to one factor. There's
Yeah.
so many different reasons. Like you could want that meal because you're hungry, or you could also want it because you've been sad recently and fast food makes
Yeah.
you feel good. Like there's so many different variables that can affect it.
But my point is there's
Yeah.
ideological motivators, and then there's
Yeah.
physical, you're hungry, you need to eat motivators.
Do you think there's other motivators, like emotional? What about emotional?
Yeah, emotional states.
Yeah. I would say status. So
Status.
like wanting to buy something. Like, what's a good example of that? Oh, here it is. You do charity, right?
Yeah.
You you pay someone $100,000 and they put your name
Yep.
there on a plaque and they recognize you at their events. That's status. You paid for status. You might say, oh, it's because I'm a good person, but most people do it out of status or wanting to virtue signal to
Yeah.
people. That is ideological as well.
I guess that would.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm having a blast. Just like
Figuring all that out.
my whole thing is now, how can I talk to people, listen to them, understand their motivations and their incentives, and then build it so we can like build the podcast actually. Literally, I was telling you before.
Yeah.
Like, look at how all these incentives align. How can we make it so that it makes sense for people to get on?
Yeah. Mm.
But it's pretty. I'm finding it to be very.
I think podcasts are
interesting.
fun, and what I love about podcasts is how you can see one person interact with other people, and it's like you'll be the consistent guest. People will get to know you,
Yeah.
and then they'll get to have a little like dip their toes into other people's like life experience, and then they'll get to know you better through that. And it's like, I don't know. I've always loved podcasts. I love that form of media where you got one consistent host, and then you have all these varied guests. I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, and there's just so many different perspectives.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you have the perspective of high school dropout. You should find someone with a PhD and get them on here. Just talk to him and be like, hey, what's your opinion on this? Like, why did you get a PhD? And I think challenging your beliefs is one of the best ways to do that. So,
I've talked to some PhD people when I did Melvin's. A lot in Ann Arbor because it's a big education town.
Big education town.
Usually they just think I'm weird.
Really?
Yeah, typically.
Yeah.
But you
are weird.
I mean,
like if in the definition of the word, like outside the norm, you are weird, but not in a bad way. People have like a negative connotation with the word weird. But
so without going too long, I appreciate you coming on. I have one question before you go. Because I'm trying to do 20 a week, so 1,000 business owners. Is there anybody that I can connect you with that's helpful to your life and your goals?
Unless you know a PhD in physics that teaches at University of Michigan, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I'm good. Yeah.
So PhD.
Yeah. Anyone with
someone
at Michigan doesn't even need to be.
Because your focus right now is how do I become basically the top in this.
Top in a science field eventually, whether that be neuroscience, psychology, physics, chemistry. I'm not decided on that yet, but some top of my field in some science.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, Dante.
Yeah, it was interesting talking.